Thank you for joining us again and welcome back to our channel. In this episode, I will be looking into the reason why the United States of America's withdrawal from Niger signal a shift in Western influence in the Sahel region. I will be looking at some specifics in this video, so bear with me. First of all, I will be looking at the United States withdrawal from Niger could pose significant obstacles to counter-terrorism efforts in the Sahel region with repercussions for the general area. Secondly, I shall be looking at the Sahel is witnessing a new era where Western powers lack substantial influence. More importantly, I will be diving into why China and Russia are both broadening their economic and military foothold in the continent of Africa. I will close this episode at looking at a variety of factors that are leading to the decline of American influence in Africa and on a global scale. So without any more delay, let's just dive straight into it. On March 16, observers of peace and security in the Sahel region were taken aback by the sudden announcement by Niger's military spokesperson, Colonel Major Amadou Djamina, that the government of Niger had terminated its military agreement with the United States of America with immediate effect. Djamina reasons that the agreement was an imposition on the country and violated constitutional and democratic rules. In other words, the sovereignty of Niger. He added that the agreement was not only profoundly unfair in its substance, but it also does not meet the aspiration and interests of the Nigerian people, thereby demanding that over 600 remaining American troops leave the country of Niger. If we look at perspectives and geopolitics in play, the recent news emerged after a visit to the country by prominent officials from the United States of America's government. This delegation included the U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for African Affairs, Molly Fee, Assistant Secretary of Defense for International Security Affairs, Celeste Walanda, and African Commander Michael Langley. The Nigerian government, however, highlighted that the visit did not conform to established diplomatic protocol, leading to the Prime Minister receiving the delegation out of courtesy rather than the President. Earlier, the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken had also visited Niger prior to the March 2023. This was the first visit by a Secretary of State, underscoring the strategic importance of the country to the counter-terrorism initiatives of the United States of America and its allies. If you look at the security implication with regards to the Sahel region, in a geopolitical landscape witnessing growing Chinese and Russian influence, Niger represented the final Western ally and a pivotal collaboration in counter-terrorism operations of the United States and Europe in the Sahel region, stretching from the West African coastlines of Mauritania to the Red Sea of Sudan. Niger's significance was further amplified following the expulsion of France from Mali, Burkina Faso, and also in Niger, which severely undermined decades of French counter-terrorism operations in the region. The military agreement between the United States and Niger forms a critical element of the United States counter-terrorism strategy. This accord facilitates a robust U.S. military presence via Air Base 101 in Niamey, the capital of Niger, and Air Base 201 near Agadez, located southwest of Niamey. The latter, a significant air base operational since 2018, has been utilized for manned and unmanned surveillance, flight, among other operations, and to initiate drone operations against armed factors affiliated in that particular region of the Sahel. If you look at other areas, with France withdrawal from the region, the United States and its drone base in Niger represented the last bastion of continued counter-terrorism and also stability in the increasingly unstable region. Much needed support for other regional peace and security efforts, such as the multinational joint task force combating other issues in the region. Consequently, the withdrawal of the United States from Niger could have substantial security consequences for the Sahelian country as well as broader sub-Saharan African region, as both countries in the region and regional peace and security initiative rely on support from the U.S. base in Niger. If you look at rising powers and the U.S. decline influence in the region, the withdrawal of the United States from Niger would not only be a disaster for its counter-terrorism initiative initiative in the region, but will also hinder its efforts to counter the rising power of like Russia and also China, who are striving to expanding their influence in the region, across the continent of Africa and globally. US influence in Africa has been waning over the years, hitting a low during the Trump administration. However, there has been some improvement during the Biden administration, although the United States of America still trailed behind China. In the meantime, Russia, primarily through the Wagner Group, is gaining ground, particularly in Mali, Niger, Chad, and Sudan, all of which are heavily affected by insurgency and terrorism groups. Moreover, Niger accounts for about 7% of the world's uranium production. It comes as no surprise that Russia and Iran are seeking to form alliances with the country to boost their uranium enrichment capabilities. The rumored partnership between Niger and Iran has particularly alarmed the United States, causing US officials to express concern about a deal that would grant Iran access to Niger's extensive uranium reserve. The American expulsion from Niger has a profound impact on its global leadership role in peace and security. This role is already diminishing as rising powers call for more inclusive in the decision-making process at the United Nations Security Council, commensurate with their contributions to global peace and security through troops and policy deployment in peace operations. Moreover, American financial contribution to the United Nations declined since the Trump administration. Although the United States remains the largest contributor, the reduction of UN funding and general inward-looking policies was largely perceived as the United States withdrawing in engaging and influence in global governance. In contrast, China's contribution has seen a significant increase from about 2% in 2000 to over 15% in 2022 and is expected to grow. Rising powers are capitalizing on the US withdrawal to push for more inclusive United Nations that reflects the current global reconfiguration of powers, politics, and also leadership. Moreover, in recent times, the United States of America has been unsuccessful in securing peace deals or preventing conflict in areas like Gaza, Yemen, and also Sudan and Ukraine, where it previously held significant influence. On the other hand, rising powers such as Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and China appear to be making headway in peace negotiations and agreement. For example, Qatar recently brokered a peace agreement to initiate a national reconciliation dialogue in Chad. Saudi Arabia is spearheading the jihad talk and also in efforts to halt fighting in Sudan. And the United Arab Emirates has made significant progress in mediating Russian conflicts and also with Ukraine, leading to a prisoners exchange. In each of those instances, the influence of the United States as a global power is waning. If you look at the new dawn in African agencies with regards to different aspects, the recent incident in Niger represents a significant setback for the United States of America and its European allies. Those events, among with other developments, particularly in Francophone Africa, signal a new era of African elites taking charge of their own affairs on the continent of Africa. A decade ago, such open embarrassment even would have been unthinkable. However, African leaders are increasingly expressing disagreement and also defiance towards the demand of Western powers, especially France. This trend reflects a growing awareness among Africans and a belief that African issues are best addressed by Africans themselves. Furthermore, the alternative financial aid provided by the BRICS has given African countries more autonomy and influence over their governments and also governance structures. The days of authoritarianism and also paternalistic relationship with colonial rulers and Western powers seem to be over. If not surprisingly, that Djamina consciously reminded American delegation that it cannot dictate Niger's choice of partners, be it Russia, Iran, or otherwise. Whether for good or ill, the events in Niger have far-reaching implications for the United States of America counter-terrorism efforts in the Sahel, a lasting impact, and also the US global leadership and also control in underscoring the principle of African agency in solutions to also African problems. However, the United States of America does not get it in several areas with regards to its understanding the continent of Africa. A number of American experts continue to push that Russia is the hindrance with regards to America's engagement in the continent of Africa. However, this narrative of that the African people and governments cannot make their own decision does not sit well with regards to the region. If you look at the importance of the Sahel region, specifically the country of Niger, amid world-shaking crisis in the Middle East, Europe and also Indo-Pacific, the news from Niger might seem unimportant. Yes, the American troops are making an ignominious withdrawal as Russian forces sashay into the same Nigerian air base hosting US personnel. And yes, until last July coup, Niger was a poster child for American democracy and effort in Africa, and the foundation for US counterterrorism strategy in the region. Today, the American-backed, democratically elected president Mohamed Bazoum is a prisoner in his own official residence, and the coup leaders are working with Russia's Wagner group in other areas. How much does Niger really matters? That's the question. Though large and about twice the size of Texas, it's landlocked and mostly desert. It has substantial uranium reserve and other minerals, including gold, but nothing that can be found elsewhere. With roughly 26 million people and a gross domestic product of about 15 billion US dollars, it is one of the world's least developed country, and also since achieving nominal independence from France in 1960, Niger has lurched between ineffective interval of civilian and military rule. Hopefully we've informed you with regards to the reason why the United States of America is facing a challenge in those areas, and why US withdrawal from Niger signal a shift in Western influence in the country of Niger and across the Sahel region. We want to thank you for watching. Let us know what you think with regards to this particular geopolitical changes taking place across the continent of Africa, and leave your comment. Keep the conversation going. We are looking forward to meeting you soon. If you are new to this channel, watch some of our other informative video and subscribe and share the video with your different network. For now, we want to thank you for watching. We are looking forward to meeting you again in our next episode. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
The team has been deeply engaged with multiple countries in the region, as well as critical organizations like ECOWAS, like the African Union, and we are united in condemning the actions that have taken place in Niger, calling for the immediate release. Our economic and security partnership with Niger, which is significant, hundreds of millions of dollars, depends on the continuation of the democratic governance and constitutional order that has been disrupted by the actions in the last few days. So that assistance, that support, is in clear jeopardy as a result of these actions, which is another reason why they need to be immediately reversed.
Good morning. It's a great pleasure to welcome Chairperson Faki here to the State Department, to Washington, for what is now our 9th high-level dialogue between the African Union and the United States. The relationship between the United States and the African Union is maybe the best example of our commitment and our conviction that when it comes to Africa, it's not what we're doing for Africa, it's what we're doing with Africa and in support of Africa. Thank you.
Mr. Secretary, any comment on the opening of the